Chris Mackowski for Emerging Civil War. I am on the south bank of the North Anna River in front of Ellington, the Fox House, a key landmark here on the North Anna battlefield. And I want to say thank you to the American Battlefield Trust for letting me be out here today. Special shout out to Tom Gilmore, Matt George, a couple of the unsung heroes at the Trust who do a lot with the land management for the organization. The Trust recently declared victory after a preservation initiative that saved 123 acres here at North Anna, including the Fox House and the adjacent property all the way down to the North Anna River, which is behind me along that far tree line. But that brings up to 876 acres, the amount of land that the Trust has preserved here at the North Anna River, which is absolutely crucial to one of the most understudied, underappreciated phases of the Overland Campaign. As Lee and Grant met here beginning on the 23rd of May, 1864, Robert E. Lee was sitting here at the Fox House enjoying a glass of buttermilk on the front porch. Now right now this looks like the front porch right behind me. Today modern Route 1 comes up right along there, and so of course it's facing the road. But in 1864 the road actually passed in the far tree line behind the house. So let's go back there and take a quick look. This house dates back to the 1830s. The sign up front says 1839, but there's also family lore that says it goes back to 1830 itself. So it was in pretty poor shape. A lot of water damage. The roof wasn't in such hot shape. So a lot of what the Trust has been doing is rehabilitating the house. Trying to shore up and firm up the foundation. It's a Georgian style architecture, and so that means the front and the back, the left and the right of the house are all mirror images of each other. Last year, for the 155th anniversary of the Overland Campaign, I had the privilege of giving a tour of the house and the inside for the American Battlefield Trust. You can see that on the Trust Facebook page. We'll post a link in the comments below. If I do a 180-degree turn across the property, the Telegraph Road ran along that far tree line back there, the Chesterfield Bridge down in that corner. And so Robert E. Lee was sitting on the front porch of this house, kind of settling in. He'd done an inspection of his line. He was having a glass of buttermilk, enjoying the company of Reverend Thomas Fox, when suddenly artillery fire started booming from the far side of the river. It was Alfred Torbert's cavalry. They were pursuing Wade Hankins' cavalry, and at first Lee thought it was a cavalry skirmish, but it turns out that was just the vanguard of Grant's entire army, and they start setting up across the way, and they're going to assail Confederate positions. Huge mistake, because Lee had not fortified here, settled in. He wanted to give his men rest because he thought Grant was heading down a little further downriver toward the Pamunkey. So Grant shows up. Lee finds himself unprepared. So this is really going to kind of kick things off in a rather sudden way for Lee, but he calmly, coolly finishes his glass of buttermilk, passes it off to Reverend Fox, and goes and gets ready to do battle here along the banks of the North Anna. We're going to take a second to walk around the property just a little bit. The Trust has been doing some preservation work here to shore up the house, try to get it stabilized, try to get this property rehabilitated, and they've given us the opportunity to take a quick look. That's where I was just standing. Let me zoom out to the front yard, get us reoriented. There's the main house. There's Reverend Fox's schoolhouse. He'd been a school teacher. Here at the base of this tree in the front yard, there are the remains of a root cellar. This family that used to live here played baseball in the front yard as kids and used that as home plate before it caved in. One of the cool accounts from North Anna comes from Edward Porter Alexander, the Confederate artillerist, who talks about being here in the yard of the Fox House when shells come careening across the river from the Federal Army. One of those shells clips one of the chimneys and causes a cascade of bricks to come down, kills one staff member, and Alexander has to leap into a windowsill to get out of the way. According to family tradition, that story takes place here on the south side of the house. Today there is actually a door going down into a root cellar, and this was supposedly where the window was once upon a time. This section of the house, we'll take a quick look up close, was actually added on later, this doorway. And you can see the difference in the bricks. And so this used to be a window. This is supposedly where Alexander leaped out of the way to avoid that avalanche. It does bury his ankles, bruising him pretty badly, but he does escape serious harm as a result. Honestly, for a long time, I thought that incident took place on the north side of the building facing the Federal Artillery, where today they're doing a lot of the conservation work on the house. Let me just hop out into the yard just a little bit further to reorient us. Looking over here, there's a depression in the ground where the old ice house used to be. The family used this as their burn pit, so it filled up over the years. And then looking down off across the fields, we're looking at the North Anna River and that far tree line. If we pan over to the left just a little bit, we'll see on that ridge line there's actually where the slave quarters used to be. This was a working plantation once upon a time. And then at the far corner of the property are the ruins of the Chesterfield Bridge. So what a privilege, what a treat it is to be out here on this property today to commemorate the opening of the Battle of North Anna River. I want to thank the American Battlefield Trust for letting me be out here today. I also want to thank them for preserving this gem of a property. They protected 123 acres here around the Fox House, all the way down to the river, the ruins of the Chesterfield Bridge, part of the original Telegraph Road. What a huge, huge preservation victory. Added to the other acreage here, it's some 876 acres that they have preserved at North Anna. Really going to do a lot to open up our understanding and interpretation of this phase of the Overland Campaign. For Emerging Civil War, thanks so much for joining us. I'm Chris Mackowski.